Hi guys, and guess what? Issue 6 of GoClassics is out. I'm really excited because why? Because as usual, my column is in there. I am the media editor for this and I do the videos for them, but I also have a column in here as well. Top Triumph. It's a play on Top Trumps, yeah, in case you didn't get it. Top Cat. Oh, there's a lot of tops going on in this one. Elan, that's what my column is about. I'll come to that in a minute. MX-5 buying guide. Well, you know, summer is not, I know, look at the weather. It's raining, it's windy, it's pretty awful, but summer will soon be here. Whatever little we get of it here in the UK, it will be here soon, and you want to be ready for it, so you want to have a look at that. Restoration rules, look at that, check that out. A lot of great stuff in this magazine as usual. Bit of bad news. Famous Morris Minor specialist falls, that's a bit of a shame. End of an era for Lotus with all the Elise, Xjs, Jaguar all now finished. So a little bit of bad news to start with, but good news. Radford is a new car that's happening. Maserati is now doing certification as well, so that's interesting. Details of collectible Scalextric car for Coventry. This is the Jaguar Xjs Touring, which is kind of cool. Check it out. By the way, if you want a copy, head over to goclassics.co.uk and you can download the digital version, read it on your phone and your tablet or iPad, whatever, straight away. Or in major WH Smiths, you can get it, or just subscribe to it and you get it by mail. And if you want a physical copy, that's probably the best way. Coverage of the NEC, we of course did a video of that as well, which you can find on this channel, and met some great people and did some great interviews there as well. That was a lot of fun. The usual guide to how to get into classics. And then here it is, it's my column. There you go. And this one is an epiphany in an Elan, and it harks back to, oh my goodness, the 90s. What's that, 30 years ago, more than 30 years ago, which is when I visited the Lotus factory and got to drive an Elan, which was new at that time. And there's my story of that experience, and it is quite something, actually, let me tell you. Then there's another column from Angie Veluti about buying classic cars as an investment. Always a good read. And here is an Elan buying guide. Now this is interesting actually, because Elans are something that overlooked. They were kind of, you know, not as much loved in their day, but I think their day is coming now. I think they're going to start to appreciate. I think people are going to start to look at them with a new eye. And don't forget that they were well advanced for their time. Not only in terms of the build, but and stuff, but the engineering, the dynamic excellence of the car. I mean, they were highly regarded as the best front-wheel drive handling car ever until that point. Simeon Cattle's column, and this one is all about old fluids and how they can kill classics. Oh dear, so that's a bit of a warning piece. You better check that out. Covers a bit about oils and stuff like that, and oils that you can get especially designed for your classics, so that's quite useful as well. Picking the perfect project, special feature, a Jaguar Mark II. Look at that. You want to be a bad boy. You either want to be a cop or you want to be a bad boy. That's it. You're either a good guy or you're a bad guy. There's no in between with this car. There's, you know, it's either cops and robbers. That's what this car is. And if you're one of those, then you might want to get them. It's still as cool as ever. Worst models, best models, prices, etc., etc. What to look out for. All of that stuff is in here. Feeling triumphant. It's basically a look at all, including the Triumph Acclaim, which was actually a Honda Blade, you know, which is a Honda, which in itself was a Honda Civic Saloon. But this covers all of the Triumphs, you know, Spitfires and Herald, Vitesse, GT6. GT6 is an interesting one. Quite like the look of that mini E-Type, that one was regarded as. Right Stuff, again, this is what people originally wrote about the cars when they first came out. And it's always interesting to see what people thought of the cars in period as opposed to now, because there's always a bit of a difference, isn't it? Because as cars get older, your perception of them changes. And at the time when they came out and you compare them to what's in the market, and you may have marked them down. So take, for example, a Ferrari 348. In its day, it was badly marked down because it lost group tests against things like, you know, the Porsche 911 and even the Honda NSX, which was new at the time. But look at it today, and it's a completely different proposition, because all of a sudden now it's an attractive thing. And who cares if it was dynamically inferior to those cars, because now so many years have passed that actually you will allow for that anyway in that sort of car. Similarly with the Ford Capri, the UK's Mustang, as that car was known. John Wayne had one in a movie called Brannigan. He crashed that one. The first Capri project was coded Colt, son of Mustang. So there's that Mustang link, you see. So it was very clearly meant to be Europe's Mustang, but they were actually, a bunch of them were actually sold back in America as Mercury, I think, Mercury Capris, and they still exist. So they're quite rare and collectible. Insurance feature, and there's some really badly damaged classics that, ooh, it hurts me to even look at them. A feature on boats. Why is there a feature on boats in GoClassics Magazine? Well, Mike Taylor looks at the thrills of buying and running a classic powerboat. It says Go Classics. It never said Go Car Classics or Classic Cars, did it? It said Go Classics. So why not? Why not indeed? So there you go. They sort of compare them to what the equivalent car might be. So they put them in the sort of terms that you and I might understand. But so if you're into boats or you're thinking about getting into boats, you want to check that out. Mazda MX-5, everything you need to know about getting into a Mazda MX-5. Definitely pick up a copy of this if you're thinking of buying that. There are so many, if you look in the classifieds right now, there are so many MX-5s available. Such a wide choice. I mean, you can really pick and choose, and really good prices as well. Mod the Mark, looking at how to modify the MGA. So these are always good because this is like how you can actually improve it. How you can restore it. It tells you how you can restore it, but it tells you how you can actually improve it as well. That's always a great feature. But the best alternative to a Ford Escort, I think Hillman Avengers and Vauxhall Vivas might be about to have their day, because the Escorts have been ruling for a while now, haven't they? And this is what happens when you can't afford one type of car from a particular genre or era. And then suddenly you go, well, if I can't have that, what else will this rival? What were the key cars at the time? And then you start looking at that. So I think that, you know, this is a good call actually. These cars might be about to have their day, so it's a good idea to get into them now. Budget British buys. So this is quite a fun feature. This is like, well, you know, you want to buy a classic, but on a limited budget. What can you get? And what can you get that's British? Ford Anglia is probably one that is worth looking at. I think that's definitely having a bit of a moment. It's been having a moment ever since the Harry Potter movie, but I think particularly now. My dad actually had one of those. Very short-lived, got stolen. He only bought it because he liked the color. It was yellow with a black stripe. More cheap thrills. Austin Maestro, Ford Focus. Ford Focus is having a day. Actually, the original Ford Focus is now being, because it was a real step. I did the launch for that way back in late 90s, 97 was it? I don't know, something like that, 98, something like that, I don't know. It was way ahead of its time, deservedly getting recognized for that. Lots of other cars in there, MGs, Rovers, the Rover 2213, which again was a Honda Civic, but actually had a Rover, one of the models actually had a Rover engine in them. Man Cave. How to make the ultimate man. This is a cool feature. You got a bit of money, you bought a bit of space to make a man cave. You definitely want to read this one. This is really cool. I like that. Alex Isigonis' Maxi. Some more great columns here about insurance and stuff like that. Issue 6, available now. Get it at goclassics.co.uk. Subscribe so you get it in the post, no problem at all. Or just go and download it and read it straight away on your iPhone, tablet, whatever. Hope you enjoyed that. Catch you again soon in the next video.
So, you want something sleek and glamorous, and then check out the Jaguar E-Type featured in our launch issue, alongside many other features such as
buying guides, owner's tips, and even how to buy your own first classic car.
Go Classics is about the cars that you relate to, the cars that you've dreamed of, and the cars that you can own, run, and enjoy. At Go Classics, we'll tell you how.
Go Classics is the most exciting car magazine on the shelves today, and it's out now. And you can get one by heading over to goclassics.co.uk, where you can find some of our fantastic limited time subscription offers.
forget about the boring, the pompous, the self-important. If you want something new,
Go Classics!